Hey everyone, welcome to Story Time. I am your host and producer, Courtney Baker. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have been begging this guest to be on the show for a few months, and he's finally agreed. I cannot wait to interview and chat with one of my friends, CJ Mosley of the New York Jets. He is one of the best people I know. He's amazing. He's so funny. Um, and this interview won't really be so much football based because his stats and his numbers already speak for themselves. But I want y'all to get to know CJ off the field. And I know y'all will love him. So enjoy CJ's episode. All right, y'all, we are back with CJ Mosley. CJ, how is the last little bit of your off season? What are you doing right now?
Just working out during the week and just chilling, video games and trying to eat healthy. So just get ready to get back to it.
So you mentioned eating healthy. Are you a good cook or no?
I'm an okay cook mainly because I don't cook a lot. I don't really necessarily have to because I can do meal prep or, eat at the facility during the season. And when my parents come in, they always load up the refrigerator. So, I'm always got the refrigerator full.
Oh, well, I suck at cooking, as you know. But if you had to pick one meal to cook to like impress someone when they came over, what would you cook?
Personal, man. I don't know. I really want to trust myself to cook for somebody else if I don't really cook for myself that well. But my brother did put me on this thing called the Jewel. Now, not the ones you smoke. It's something you cook with. So you get a pan and you just, put the amount of water in. You vacuum seal chicken, beef, whatever it is, and you put it on. It's like Bluetooth Connect. You just put it on there and cook it. It makes it perfect for you. Do your own seasoning and all that. So that's pretty convenient.
Would you trust yourself enough to feed it to me to eat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at following the directions, so I do what the directions say, so that should work out.
There you go. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk football. I already said in the intro, like your stats and numbers and records and all that speak for themselves, so we aren't going to get into that. But I do want to know, obviously you're a beast at football. So where did your love of the game come from? Like what really got you started in football?
Probably my dad. He signed me and my brother up for football, so I started playing football at 5. So it's just something that was always been in my life. So I just loved doing it. I was good at it, so that definitely helped out a lot.
And also, like anybody that has seen you either in person or on the field knows you're like a big dude. So growing up, were you always one of those kids where like everybody was wondering, okay, can we check his birth certificate to make sure he's like the right age? Or were you always kind of just fitting in with everyone else?
So, yeah, with my height, I was always kind of around the same height, but I was just a thicker guy. I was a little chubby when I was a kid, but I didn't really start getting tall, like taller than my friends until like after 8th grade. So once you graduate 8th grade and you got that long summer getting ready for high school, everybody else like 5'7", 5'8", 5'11", and I just all of a sudden jumped up to 6 feet. So that's kind of when I started separating. But
That's how
when I was
I
a
was.
kid, yeah, when
Yeah,
I was
that's
a
how I
kid,
was
I
too.
did a little phase. My last year playing Pop Warner ball,
Mhm.
I was like always over. I was like a few pounds overweight out of nowhere. It was fine growing up then. And I remember the championship game. I was running around with a trash bag, eating salads. It was the worst. It was the worst couple months trying to trying to stay underweight. But
Wait,
that was
what? But now you don't have to do that, right? Like obviously being a professional, you have to eat healthy. Like you can't have McDonald's every meal, but for you and like all the muscle and stuff, you don't really have to like focus on like salads and stuff like that. You can still
yeah.
like bulk up, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own style. Some people go, full vegan. Some people, take out certain things. But, you look at Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, he used to eat McDonald's all the time. And you see what kind of career he has. So, just, whatever, your body. So only you know what you can and can't take and can't eat.
Also, Chad Johnson Jr., he plays for ASU and he is the same way. Like people ask him what his favorite food is and he says McDonald's. And
Yeah,
he's
man.
still like slim, like has the exact same build as his dad. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I know just from knowing you for so long how your family plays such an important role in your life. I know your parents try to go to as many games as they can. You're obviously super close with your brother. He also played for Alabama. And I think y'all lived together. So just kind of talk about the relationship you have with your family and how important they've been to you and your career.
Yeah, one thing I've learned, family's always been important. It's been preached in my household from the beginning. God first, family second. Just since we've been kids, we always went to go see my family in Chicago. We always saw my family when we lived back in Alabama. So it just always played a part in everything that we did. Some family reunions every year. Driving up to Chicago. Those 12-hour trips when we was younger. Spending the summers up there. So just then, every time, one of our family members or siblings had big events. The whole gang went. Graduations, the whole gang went. So just always been a part. Everybody just supporting each other.
And how great was it for you? So, did you went to Alabama? Did your brother always know he was going to go to Alabama? And then obviously he, was signed or was in the NFL for a little bit. So, how special was it for you to watch him just kind of go through everything that you went through as well?
Yeah, it was fun to watch because he got to where I got, but he took a whole different path. So you always love to hear the stories when both brothers or both sisters just dominate and do this and that. I was fortunate enough to have that type of career through my football career. He unfortunately had to earn it the hard way. He didn't get the big scholarship. He chose to walk on to Alabama. He did the hard things. He sat out. He redshirted. He fought through the process. That daily grind of not knowing the unknown, and he got through it. He got a scholarship. Um, he graduated with honors. He did his thing, and he did it a different way. He didn't do it my way. He did it his way. So I'll always be proud of him for that. He's just still persevering to this day.
Oh, and you said he graduated with honors. So, who's the smarter Mosley brother?
No, for sure. I ain't gonna even argue that one. You can have it.
Love that. Well, you guys also have done your camps in the off seasons, I believe back home in Alabama. So just kind of tell me about those, how it all got started. And then obviously the future is still unknown with, COVID and all of that, but kind of where you guys want to take your camps in the future.
Yeah. So before COVID, I think it was going into our sixth anniversary of the CJ Mosley camp. So I always hosted every year at my high school in Theodore, Alabama. So it's anybody can come. It's free. So the main always want to try to get back to the community. Host something back at home. But every year we wanted to do more than just have a camp. So after the second year, we did an all white party. So everybody, it was just for family members. Everybody, get together because the camp takes a lot of work and it's hot. Down there in Alabama, like June, July. So with the cooking and setting up the place where we host the party, just getting the camp ready. We do like a big celebration after the camp's over, the 2-day camp. So what we started doing, we started all the money we collected, we started to give it to families or children that was in the hospital, kind of like a GoFundMe type thing. So every year, we kind of open it up to the public. So the people that came, we had like auctions off, me and my brother signed things, stuff like that. Then all the money, goes to a family. Then whatever we raise that night, like I match it. So it just turned into a big thing. So we'll be excited when we get that going again. But that's kind of how how that happened.
And that's so cool. And I know you're from Alabama, obviously going to college there, and you still are there a lot during the off season. So I'm curious. I doubt there's a lot of huge success stories. I mean, in any city, it's kind of rare that you find somebody that has had the success that you have had. So how popular is the Mosley name back in your hometown? Like, do you get recognized everywhere you go? Or I know you're like a quiet person anyways. So
Yeah.
how does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah. Alabama's a wrap anywhere. So, I mean, I got there in 2010. Then soon as I left, my brother got there, and that's 2019. Well, yeah, I think 19. So that's just this decades. Just Mosley's been been at Alabama, but man, it was definitely it's been a blessing. Just the things that I got to experience as a player, and like I said, my family comes along to all these new states and new stadiums, and going on trips with the team and things like that. So it just for me to experience and then have my family along as well. That was always great. And I got to meet Barack Obama twice when we won the back-to-back championship. So that's can't take that one away.
Humble brag, just no big deal. Back to back championships, 2 White House visits, no big
Yeah.
deal. What was it like meeting him though? Because I know there's like obviously things were different with the last president, a lot of people having feelings, not wanting to go meet him, but it seems like with Obama, everyone was so excited and he's a sports fan. So, I mean, just kind of tell me what it was like meeting the president of the United States.
It was cool. Obviously some guys wanted to be, all extra and pose and all that. I just did my handshake and kept it moving. So I didn't really actually talk to him, but just to be in the presence, just to be at the White House, just see all the monuments. I took a picture where I think the 2013 year when they first built Martin Luther King Jr. monument. So we got to see that for the first time. So I mean, like I said, man, all the experience that we went through with the success. So it was just a good time.
That's awesome. And then I want to talk about there's been a lot of adversity in your career. I feel like I was kind of the cheerleader version of you. I was hurt all the time. I mean, I tore my groin. Like I have very similar injuries to kind of what you've gone through. Obviously, yours are at a way higher level. But every single time you've battled back and you've come back stronger, you've always handled recovery really well. So just kind of first talk about the mentality that you have to have where your career and your livelihood depends on you being, healthy, ready to go, but then you've always come back stronger. So it's kind of take me through, the mental toll that had and how you've recovered.
I mean, you can definitely go through the highs and lows of it, especially if you're not used to being injured. I've had a couple nicks here and there, maybe missed a game or two up until last year. The most games I missed was two in my whole career. So, miss a whole season. Then, COVID happened. So, I mean, you never know what life brings you. So when you go through those moments, you just got to realize it's okay not to be okay sometimes. I realize a lot how mental health plays a part, just in your everyday thinking, just your mindset, and how you wake up and who you surround yourself with, how you treat your body, and the people like even on social media, like things that you're just looking at on a daily basis, you like sometimes you got to look like what you following and what you're looking at every single day. And you be like, maybe you got to make some changes so I can mentally not think about this stuff all the time. So,
Mhm.
when you have that kind of time off, you get to experience what kind of person you are, and what you really see deem important, and what you really need around you. So, it's definitely a blessing in disguise, even though I've had this 2 year experience not playing football really.
That's great advice. And I think just there's so many kids and teens that we've seen. I know there was the very viral video of Cam Newton at his camp with one of the kids, kind of chirping him a little bit. And just there's ways that people handle things differently. So, what advice would you have? Kind of similar to what you just said, but if there's kids, maybe specifically football players that are still growing up, going through the years, different levels, that have maybe, especially during COVID, had some times where they just weren't sure if they wanted to do it anymore, like they lacked motivation. What advice would you give them to keep going?
Well, if you're unsure like of yourself, man, talk to somebody. Like if you got a best friend, talk to your best friend about it. Talk to a teammate, talk to a coach or somebody you trust. Just kind of just having somebody else listen to you will help you just get it out. Or if you really want to hear about their opinion, they might have some that you can listen to. So that'd be my main advice. If you're really unsure about something, or if you really want to get involved in something, or you feel a certain type of way, you don't know how to express it, just talk to somebody else. Sometimes, good to vent or listen.
Love it. So now kind of moving to football. I'm very curious. Do you have a role model that either you've played with, played against, maybe they were out of the league by the time you got there? Is there somebody that you've really looked up to and potentially modeled your game after?
Um, Not, I wouldn't say necessarily one person. I know growing up, I was a Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis fan, so I just always, love watching those two play, and there were good football teams too at that time. But now, everybody kind of have their own style. It's kind of when I when I got into college, it was all about the big linebackers, going downhill, 250 pounds, stocky guys. So I was the wave of the skinnier linebackers, the fast linebackers. So you see the guys this past year, ball out. Everybody's wearing 235, 220, so running around. So man, it's just the game's different. Offensive faster, moving around. Tight ends looking like wide receivers these days. So the defense always got to match what the offense doing. So we always find a way though.
And you mentioned Ray Lewis. I know you've already done so many interviews about what it was like playing, with the same organization and everything. But I kind of have a different question. Ray Lewis was on Dancing with the Stars. Is there any chance you would do Dancing with the Stars?
Okay. Nope.
You don't have any moves?
I'm straight.
Well, if it ever came down to it, I mean, I would nominate you and just not tell you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Well, life off the field. Let's kind of chat a little more. So you mentioned you have been playing video games and everything during your quarantine. So what's your go-to video game to play?
Go to probably Call of Duty, which I'm mediocre at. So don't try to add me telling me to play because I'll disappoint. FIFA, 2K we used to be heavy on. We kind of took a break from that. We've been playing like 2K playgrounds. So we just been bored when we play the game. So we're trying to find things to play. That 2K playgrounds, Rocket League, that's actually been fun to play. So we got shout out to MLB The Show. They about to drop on Xbox. So now I don't have to buy a PlayStation just to play that. So that's coming out 420. So I'll definitely be on that road to the show. So
There you go.
that's pretty much lined up.
What's your team when you play MLB? Like, what's your go-to club?
Oh no, I straight the road to the show. I create my player and play with him. So I lead him to the promised land.
They're champions, World Series champions every time.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Well, then, what is your go-to Netflix show?
I'm the worst at picking Netflix shows. It takes me forever to try to find one. I just finished on WandaVision, episode 8. So
Okay.
yeah. So I'm ready for next Thursday or next Friday whenever it drops. So I'm big on the Marvel series.
I have not watched it yet. I know it's on Disney Plus. I started it, but then I told my parents because I let them use my account. They FaceTimed me after the first episode and said it's the worst show they've ever seen. And it blew my mind because everybody says how great it is.
You gotta watch it. And if they haven't followed like all of the movies, they definitely not gonna know what's going on. So but yeah, it's probably a tough one to start with. Tell them watch The Mandalorian, they'll probably like it.
Oh my God, my dad loves Mandalorian. I don't think he's watched the second season. But yeah, he loved it. Okay, so go-to, I know it's tough with COVID and obviously your first season wasn't a full season for you, but what is your go-to restaurant in New York or New Jersey? Do you have one?
No, I really don't.
You don't cook and you don't go to restaurants?
I'm eating at the facility or I'm eating at the crib already. So I mean, I don't know. I just go where I go.
All right. Well, I'm never asking you for recommendations if I go to New York. But all right. So I guess the last question I have is obviously, and I've told you this, anytime anybody sees your name on social media for the upcoming season, like they're excited. They're pumped to see you back. Obviously, you're such a huge name with the Jets, and everybody was so excited when you signed the contract. So for 2021, for CJ Mosley, what are you most excited about? Like it can either be on the field or just in general.
Just get back to football, really, man. Just being on the field, like just been a lot of time off. It's been a lot of time off, and I felt like put in perspective is for me this year it's like dreams and nightmares. Take a Meek Mill. For me, it's like dreams and nightmares. Like every player's dream is play through your rookie contract, sign your big deal, ball out, and exactly what you don't want to happen. Where everybody be like, all right, just like the Hex, you get this money, then you get hurt, and everybody think you trash, watch, da 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 da. Like that's exactly what happened to me. Never thought it would have happened. So it's like dreams and nightmares. So now it's like, what I'm gonna do. That's what this season's about. Like what you're gonna do. So you can prove what you're worth. You prove what you've been doing the last 5 years when you was playing, or life goes on. So it's all my decision, all my mindset. So we good. I'm just ready. Just ready whenever we start.
Well, I know I am very excited to see you back on the field, to rock my Mosley gear. And I can't wait to see. I know you're going to be a beast on the field, and you're going to prove a lot of people wrong that were hating for the past year. So looking forward to it.
It's all good. It's all good. We done with Applebee's. Back to business.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining. I know this is a very rare interview that you're doing. So I appreciate you and appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem.